Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Action Center studios. We are
We're
so
cool.
thrilled to have you here. My name is
No,
John Covert. I'm the Director of Development, and I'm joined today by...
I'm Pam Breyer, and I'm the Executive Director here at the Action Center. Thanks so much for coming.
We're so excited to have you in today. We've got an exciting program to talk all about our volunteer program. We've got a couple of guests that are wonderful that will be joining us today to share some information. But before we get started, let me cover a little bit of our housekeeping rules. If you've got your mic on, if you would turn that off, that will keep the feedback down to a minimum. There's no need for your videos, so nobody can see who's on the call today. Also, at the end of our Fireside Chat today, we are going to be sending out a survey, so we'd love to get your feedback on what you thought of today. And then lastly, at the bottom of your screen, there's a field to put in questions and answers or chats. And so as we're going along, if you have some questions, please write those down in the chat field, and we'll try to get to as many of those questions as possible by the end of the event today. So, Pam, can you tell us why you think volunteers are so important and vital to our mission here at the Action Center?
Absolutely, John. I cannot stress enough how important volunteers are to the work of the Action Center. You know, the Action Center has three core values: community, compassion, and connection. And our volunteers demonstrate all of these values and show up for us and really create that bridge to the community that is so important to us. Our volunteers are critical to our being able to meet the growing need in our community, and we have felt that more than ever right now. You know, typically before COVID at the Action Center, we had over 4,000 volunteers a year. Can you believe that?
That's amazing.
And a lot of our volunteers are older individuals who are retired. Some of them are not older, but they're working and they're coming part-time to the Action Center. Many of the people in our core volunteer group over years with the Action Center come multiple times a week and are just regulars and staples to our being able to consistently deliver our services. Many of those folks have had to stay home right now.
Right.
And so it's been amazing to watch how the community has rallied around and new individuals have joined us here. People who are not quite as concerned about their health, or maybe they're not in those high-risk age categories, and they have been able to join us here and learn the ropes very quickly and help us stretch the resources of our staff. You know, we have a relatively small staff. Sorry about my mask. We have a relatively small staff compared to the number of individuals we're serving every year. We have probably, I would guess this year, we're going to serve more than 30,000 households.
That's incredible.
And so the volunteers that help us to meet that need are absolutely critical, because without them, we would not be able to even begin to make up in staff resources the kinds of human power that comes with our volunteers. It would just be fiscally impossible for us. And so we are incredibly grateful to the work that our volunteers do for us all the time. In addition to that, we think our volunteers are huge advocates and ambassadors for the key messages we want the community to hear about need in our community, to understand the complexities of what our participants face and how hard it is to get by. In typical times, it's difficult to get by in this kind of economy with so many different challenges, but now with COVID, it's even more difficult. And our volunteers can be some of our best mouthpieces in the community to spread the stories of the individuals who are coming for help, and to help people see that each of us is just one step away sometime in our life from really needing that help. And so we just rely on our volunteers in so many different ways to be our connection to the community, our heart in the community, our compassion in the community, and being with us here side by side every day to make sure that we are able to step up and meet the growing need.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, they're fabulous. I think it's anywhere from 60 to 70 a day we're in our offices delivering services to folks that are in need. And so, and we do a lot to take care of the health and safety of those that are with us each day. We're masked up and gloved up when we need to be. And so we take great care of our volunteers. They're fabulous. Well, do we have somebody we can introduce to our audience today?
Yes, I'm really excited to introduce you to Tim Hughes. Now, Tim is one of our regular volunteers who's been with us, I think, since around 2016. He comes to us typically twice a week. He's worked both on our dock and in our grocery. He's retired from the insurance agent, from the insurance world, and brings his other skills to the Action Center very enthusiastically. His wife, Rosie, is also a volunteer with us and has been very involved, and they are two of salt of the earth folks who just give their hearts to our organization and to this community through the Action Center. So I'm really thrilled to be able to go out and get Tim for you, and I'm sure the crowd here will love to hear from him and ask him some questions too.
Yeah, great. Well, to be
So
socially distanced, if you can go get him and bring him in.
I will, and thank you so much,
Yeah,
John.
thanks for being with us, Pam. Great to have you here.
Oops, I'm still attached
We'll have
here.
our B mic, and we'll get Tim in here in just a minute. So we'll give Tim a huge round of applause as he walks in. Our studio audience is excited.
Please.
Go ahead and have a seat and grab a mic, Tim, so that our studio audience can hear you clearly. And we'll kind of get started and have a couple questions I'd love to ask you. As folks, this is Tim, great guy. But Tim,
Thanks.
can you maybe share with us what motivates you to come in here and volunteer your time here at the Action Center?
Yeah, it's a great question, John. I think what motivates me is my desire to serve other people. It's partly faith-based. I think we're all called to serve each other, and the Action Center gives me a great opportunity to serve people that are really struggling sometimes and just need a helping hand. So
Yeah,
great opportunity for me to exercise that service.
right. Well, and it gets you out of the house and gets you out of Rosie's hair, right?
That it does that too.
That's fabulous. Now, when you do come here, because we did tell people you work 2 days a week here, is that right?
Yes.
Still 2 days?
Yeah.
So of your 2 days, what do you like doing the most when you're here?
Okay, well, if we go back pre-pandemic, we have a grocery store, as you know, and so I started volunteering in the grocery area, basically walking with the clients that were coming in for food, and I would assist them in getting the allotted food that they were to pick up that day. Great opportunity just to visit with the people a little bit, share what's going on in their lives, and they were so grateful. So that was really kind of a neat thing.
Yeah.
You know, they come in and they get all of the services that the Action Center provides, and at the end they go through the grocery area, and by then they're so grateful for all of the things that the Action Center does. And it seemed like as the last person there, I got all the thank yous.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
So tell me, what types of things were you doing when you were working in the grocery department for us?
Yeah, well, so what they do is the client comes in, and based on how many people are in the family, determines how much food they get. And so we go along with them. A volunteer goes along with the client in the grocery area.
Right.
And we assist them in telling them what they can take. We encourage them to take healthy food and so forth. And again, it's an opportunity just to spend a little time visiting with them.
Right.
And so that's kind of what, and then the second thing I did was, and again, pre-pandemic, was working on the donation dock, where people were dropping off food and clothing and household appliances, or household goods, I should say. And that was on a different side. I got to thank them for all of their goodness and kindness and generosity. So that was kind of a neat experience too. And I'm assuming that we'll get back to that when time permits.
Yeah, sometimes. So you were the guy out on the dock schlepping boxes and
You
stuff?
bet, yeah. It was a good exercise.
That is good. So, I mean, is there enough people out there helping you, or are you kind of a lone wolf out there?
Oh, there's usually always adequate help. Yeah. And so we do it as a team.
Super. Well,
Yeah.
that's great coming in. As things are coming in, it's so important for us to greet our donors as they come in. If we do look at folks that are coming in over the dock, they are donors. They are contributing to the Action Center. So what would you say to our audience to encourage them to consider getting involved with the Action Center?
Well, I guess for me, John, it's, serving people that are struggling in life for a period of time is a great way to get out of myself and into the lives of other people. I think that's important. It costs nothing other than a little time and energy.
Right.
And I think it's important to make monetary donations to organizations like the Action Center, but this costs me nothing. I think it's important to do time as well as finances and stuff. So I would encourage people to donate both time and money to the Action Center because it's a great organization and it's serving people.
Right. Yeah, we like to say, everybody has time, talent, and treasure that they can share to make their community a better place. And so that's all about, what we talked about, being compassionate about connecting to our neighbors. That's all about the same thing. And so, well, that's wonderful. Yeah, I hope lots of people will come and join you at the on the dock.
Come on down.
We can make that happen. So great. Well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate you taking just a few minutes out of the volunteer time. I know you got to get back into. Are you on the dock today, or are you on the grocery side?
I volunteer on Monday and Tuesdays, so I'm just coming in to chat with you good folks.
Great. Well, we're really happy he's here. So what I'd like to do is our next guest is kind of Tim's boss, if you will.
Sure.
Her name's Carrie Stroop. She's a wonderful lady, and she coordinates all of the volunteer individuals that come in and what have you. So we want to talk to her a little bit. But before you go out and get her for us, I just want to let you know that Carrie's been with us now for a little over 3 years. So she's a wonderful lady. Interesting background. She used to be a lawyer for 13 years before she decided she wanted to, like you said, contribute back to the community and to kind of gain some of those emotional rewards that we all gain when we help other people. And so after 13 years of being a lawyer, she came in and joined the nonprofit world. Been with us 3 years. She loves the outdoors. So whether it's hiking or rafting or anything that Colorado has to offer, Carrie is all about that. So she's a wonderful lady. She has 2 kids, and I believe one of them is about to graduate from school. So she's about to be an empty nester.
Yeah.
So welcome to the club. It's a cool club to be part of, Carrie. So Tim, if you'd be so kind as to help us social distance.
All right.
And if you unclick and then go get Carrie for us, we'd love to talk to her.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for what you do, Tim. Appreciate everything you and Rosie as well do for us.
Thank you.
Well, it was wonderful to have Tim join us. He's a great volunteer. His wife is a wonderful volunteer as well. So joining us now is Carrie Stroop. And we always give our guests a rousing applause as they join us. So Carrie, if you would join me here and maybe clip the mic onto your sweater in some way, we can go ahead and have a little bit of a conversation. Just finished talking with Tim. What a great guy he is.
Yeah,
super,
we love
super
having
nice.
his help.
So great. Well, again, Carrie's one of our volunteer coordinators. And so, Carrie, if I'm interested in volunteering at the Action Center, do I need to make like a long-term commitment, or can I just pop in and out whenever I have free time?
Yeah. Well, because of COVID, things have changed in our volunteer program quite a bit. And we do not require a long-term commitment. And we aren't requiring people to do a volunteer orientation either. So all of our volunteer opportunities are posted on our website on the Get Involved page. So all you need to do is go to that page, click on one of the buttons of the different activities that you're interested in, and you can sign up for the shifts that work for you. So we have people that are coming on a weekly basis, and we have people who are just dropping in when they can find a slot that works on their schedule.
So you mentioned orientation. It sounds like we used to have an orientation.
Yeah, we did.
I imagine once we get done with this pandemic, we probably go back. Can you tell us a little bit more about what I might learn as a volunteer that's going through an orientation with us?
Yeah. So when the orientation, we just like to familiarize everybody who volunteers here about all the different services that we offer, how we connect with the community, how we help our participants connect with other resources. And so we want our volunteers to be aware of those things and how the 2 different buildings operate and work together. And we always have a tour in our orientation so people can really get a sense of the different jobs and what would appeal to them.
Right. Now, you mentioned a couple of times opportunities. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about what opportunities exist right now for volunteers. I imagine we still have a need for more volunteers.
Right.
So can you tell me a little bit about what those volunteers look like and kind of what type of shifts, if you will, or time frame we'd look at if I want to join today?
Right. So we're open to serve participants Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And we have 2 shifts. We have a morning shift and an afternoon shift. Roughly, they're 9:30 to 12 and 12:30 to 3:30. And so there are several different locations. We have people that are working behind the scenes to sort and hang clothes so that we can keep our clothing bank stocked. We have people who are working the actual clothing bank, people who are working the phone lines, people who are packing groceries and rolling them out and loading them into cars. And so that button is described as the drive-through food distribution and clothing bank on our website. And then we have people at our warehouse that are packing boxes of non-perishable food. So that is kind of an ongoing process as well. So those are our main opportunities at this time. And as special events and things get closer, we'll post other ones that come up.
Right. Yeah. So lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
It sounded like some was outdoors and some are indoor.
Right.
What type of precautions are we taking to help make sure that our volunteers and our staff and our participants are staying safe during COVID?
Right. So when people come, we do a temperature check on people coming into the clothing bank and volunteers and staff. So that's how we start the day. And people get gloves and everybody's required to wear a mask. Participants are not coming into the building except for to go into the clothing bank, and it's a limited number at any given time. So we're really trying to keep everybody spaced out and socially distanced. And we wear gloves.
Perfect. So now I'm going to go off script a little bit,
Okay.
so I apologize. But, Kara, I'd really be interested to know, why do you do what you do for us?
Well, I was in a job that was very paper oriented and very isolated from other people. And I was really drawn to working with volunteers and helping us all together help other people. And so it's been great being part of such a wonderful team. And there's so many volunteers that haven't been able to come back. Mm-hmm. And it's been really hard to not see them. And so if you're out there watching, know that we miss you. And we are really looking forward to the day when we can all get back together again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So important. Again, as Pam said in the beginning, the volunteers are absolutely the lifeblood of what we do. Mm-hmm. I mean, we simply cannot do what we do for our community if it wasn't for our volunteers. So we do miss you. We want you to come back when you feel comfortable coming back.
Yes.
It sounds like there's lots of places to fit in, even now during COVID.
Right.
So, Carrie's going to hang out with us for a little bit. If you have any questions for Carrie about our volunteer program, you have a few minutes, you can stick around.
Yeah.
She would love to chat with you a little bit and maybe answer some of your questions, whether it's a question about specific volunteer opportunity or a shift or a frequency that you'd like to get a little bit more information on. Carrie is absolutely the one to call. And maybe we'll even, Carrie, can you share with us what number should they call if they're interested in getting a volunteer opportunity?
Yeah. Well, you can call the main number, and then use my extension, which is 244. And also my email is a great way to reach out, and it's KERRIS as in Sam @theactioncenter.org.
Good. So we got that extension 244.
Yeah.
Is what you'll call when you call into the main phone number here at the Action Center. So we have a question that says, for the different areas that people can volunteer, is there a weight limit that people have to be able to lift and carry?
So we can find a job for you in all areas without needing to lift too much. There are some heavy boxes. If you're loading from the carts into the cars, that can be kind of heavy. But if that didn't work for you, you could be working behind the scenes, making our bags of bread and desserts, or restocking our refrigerators, working in the clothing bank, even packing the boxes in the warehouse. We're using the carts for packing those, and someone else can do the lifting. So we really can make it work for you wherever you want to work.
Right. Yeah. I actually volunteered out on the drive-thru the other day.
Yeah.
And my job was to tell the people inside how many boxes to bring out.
Yeah.
So my job was go like this. That's all I had to do. And then they brought out a box for a family of 2. So I didn't have to lift anything. I didn't break a sweat. I just had to go this or this or this. So yeah, there is obviously opportunities for everybody. Carrie, is there anything volunteers can do from home? We have so many volunteers that have worked for us for many years that are at home. Is there anything that they can do from home to help us right now?
I think that is a struggle for us. We are having volunteers make t-shirt bags still, which has been really useful because one of the new things we're doing is for people who don't have cooking facilities, we're pre-packing bags of stove-free cooking options in t-shirt bags. So we're using them that way and also using the t-shirt bags in the clothing bank. We do have some people working from home answering our resource hotline, but it's kind of a really limited role. We've struggled with trying to come up with more ways to help from home.
Right. Yep. Here's another question that's come in. It's really around groups. So can we accommodate groups at all during this time?
Yeah, if you contact us and we can plan ahead, we can schedule a group and we'll block out that number of people working at the drive-through or at the warehouse so that your group is working together and not a lot of other people there. So we can accommodate groups now.
Do we have any limits towards the size? I mean, can it be 5? Can it be 20 people?
Well, if we could probably do a max of 15 at any given shift, but we could spread people out a little bit.
Right. But that's going to take some planning. So you need to really call in advance and give Carrie and her team time to kind of think through, if you have a group of 20 people, where do we put everybody so that you're socially distanced and everybody's able to serve in a safe manner? So that would be super important as well. So if you're thinking about a group, by all means, give us a call. But again, look at spacing that out a couple of weeks so we have time to make the appropriate arrangements out of that. So great. Those are great questions, all of those. I think we have one more coming in. If you have time for one more quick question.
Of course.
So we love talking to our audience. I think there's like 50 or 60 of you here with us today. So we're so glad you're with us. And hopefully you're being inspired by all the different opportunities that we have to get involved. I think you find that volunteering at the Action Center is just a hugely impactful thing on you as an individual, because it truly is helping folks that are in need. So another question is, is the Action Center serving more people now, and what are the predicted trends for the coming months? Well, I can answer a little bit about that. Certainly in terms of who we're serving through our food drive-up program is amazing. I think yesterday alone we were over 200 households came through the Action Center. And it's just tremendous. On a typical day, maybe we would serve, anywhere from 60 to 70 households would come to the Action Center for assistance. And right now, I think our average is well over 180 households are coming to us. So the need continues to grow. And no, I think as we trended, nobody knows what the future is. It's all up in the air, but we're anticipating and we're preparing for this demand to continue for many months going forward. So we're going to need volunteers continuously to help us meet this need. So if you're looking to volunteer, certainly in the coming months, we're going to need your help, helping us out with that. I can also tell you that we've distributed over $600,000 in rent assistance to folks since March. And again, that's part of what Carrie kind of keeps an eye on, what's that's going and making sure we're helping people. And so rent assistance is important, food and services is good. Also, we have 1,100 people use the Action Center as their permanent address. And so we're kind of their post office, if you will. And so we remain open to help people with their mail each and every day. And I think that's all. Is that a volunteer opportunity to help with the mail? We do have volunteers that can help if that would be an option. Okay. We can do that and give out hygiene products at the same time. Oh, right. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about the hygiene products and how that's working with volunteers.
Yeah. So we've tried to provide hygiene products to people as they're coming through. Diapers, wipes, shampoo and soap, laundry detergent has been a big request. So when we have those items, we have a volunteer giving those to people in the drive-through or as they walk up.
Right. You know, the key word that you just mentioned is when we have those things.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another volunteer opportunity that you can do in your own communities. You know, if you're part of an HOA, for example, perhaps you can run a hygiene drive for us and have all your neighbors bring in different types of hygiene products, toothbrushes, toothpaste, feminine products, deodorant, all those types of things, smaller packaging would be of great help to us. And you can drop those off out at our donation dock. So that's something you could do from home that is a great volunteer opportunity for the Action Center. And so we would love to have you do that. You can also do a food drive as a volunteer program. You can get your church or your social group to do a food drive, and then bring that all down to the Action Center. So all great opportunities to volunteer. You don't necessarily need to be on our campus to volunteer to help the Action Center in our community. So great. Is there any other questions we can answer for you? I think Carrie, I've got her for a couple more minutes. But we certainly appreciate all your questions and certainly appreciate you being with us today. Looks like we're doing pretty good. So again, thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Tim, for joining us. Let me just also, as we close up, let me remind you that we'll be sending out a survey out to you shortly, and we'd appreciate your input. We'd love to hear what you thought of the Fireside Chat, but we'd also like to hear more about the different topics that you would like us to share with you on these things. If you haven't seen the Action Center, we're actually offering virtual tours 3 days a week here at the Action Center. We offer them on Mondays and Wednesdays at noon, and we also offer them on Fridays at 4 o'clock. So there'll be one today at 4 o'clock. If you've got nothing doing on 4 o'clock, we'd love to have you join us for a virtual tour. So tell your friends that that's something that's available. You can go onto our Facebook page, and you click on the button that says More, and that'll bring down an events button. And you can click on that and sign up for whatever tour you'd like to come on. And it'd be a great way to show you what's happening here at the Action Center. So great. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your time, Carrie, very much. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful weekend and stay safe out there. Bye-bye, folks.
Hope to see you soon.